The Xeraxian guards laughed as they shoved Commander Jack Reeves into the containment cell, their crystalline bodies reflecting the harsh overhead lights. "Let us see how long the human specimen survives," the lead researcher chirped, in that sing-song voice that had haunted Jack's dreams since his capture 3 weeks ago. "The pyrodrakes have not been fed in 7 cycles." The massive door sealed with a hiss. Jack stumbled forward, catching himself before falling face first onto the scorched metal floor. His military training kicked in immediately as he scanned his surroundings, a vast circular chamber with walls rising 30 feet high, punctuated by observation windows where curious alien eyes watched from safety. And in the shadows at the far end of the chamber, 3 massive forms stirred. The dragons, or what the aliens called pyrodrakes, were exactly as terrifying as Earth legends had described their mythical counterparts. 20 feet long from snout to tail tip, with iridescent scales ranging from obsidian black to blood crimson. Their wings, though bound with energy restraints, spanned twice their body length. Steam hissed from their nostrils as they sensed fresh prey. The largest drake, a midnight black monster with glowing red eyes, rose to its full height and roared, sending a jet of blue flame toward the ceiling. "Wonderful specimen," came the researcher's voice over the speakers. "Now, let the experiment commence." The 3 drakes began circling Jack, closing in with predatory precision. But Jack Reeves wasn't afraid. Not anymore. In the 3 weeks of captivity, the Xeraxians had run countless tests on him. They'd measured his strength, unimpressive by their standards, catalogued his natural weapons, non-existent, and assessed his threat level, minimal. What they hadn't realized was that humans were more than the sum of their physical attributes. Jack hadn't spent 20 years in Earth's special forces for nothing. "Hey there, big guy," Jack said to the approaching Alpha Drake, his voice calm and measured. He maintained eye contact, but kept his posture non-threatening. "I'm not your enemy." The Drake paused, seemingly confused by prey that neither ran nor attacked. Jack remained perfectly still, controlling his breathing, managing his fear. The other 2 drakes hissed and snapped their jaws, but followed their alpha's lead in hesitating. In the observation room, the Xeraxian researchers chittered excitedly, recording every movement. "Fascinating. The human attempts communication with the predators," one noted. "Perhaps a final survival mechanism before consumption." What they didn't understand was that humanity had evolved alongside predators for its entire existence. Long before humans built cities and spacecraft, they had learned to communicate with, domesticate, and form bonds with apex predators. Dogs were once wolves. Cats were once solitary hunters. Humans had a gift that the Xeraxians, with their cold, logical minds, could never comprehend. Jack reached out slowly, palm open, and spoke again. "They hurt you too, didn't they? Kept you hungry. Used you. I understand." The Alpha Drake's pupils dilated slightly. It lowered its head, nostrils flaring as it took in Jack's scent. Jack remained motionless as the massive creature approached until its snout was inches from his hand. "The specimen appears to be attempting to befriend the pyrodrake." The confusion in the researcher's voice was evident. Most illogical. 3 days later, the observation chamber had fallen silent. The Xeraxian researchers watched in disbelief as Jack Reeves slept peacefully against the flank of the Alpha Drake, the other 2 creatures forming a protective circle around him. He had shared his rations with them, treated their wounds from previous experiments, and somehow, impossibly, earned their trust. "This invalidates all our data," the lead researcher complained. "The human must be terminated and a new specimen acquired." When 4 armed guards entered the chamber the next day, they were met with a sight that would forever change the Xeraxian understanding of humanity. Jack Reeves stood flanked by 3 pyrodrakes, all with wings now freed from their restraints. Jack had methodically disabled the energy bindings, using techniques he'd observed during his captivity. "You know," Jack said conversationally as the guards froze in place, "there's something your research missed about humans." The alpha drake growled, smoke curling from its jaws. "We don't just survive alongside predators," Jack continued, placing a hand on the drake's neck. "We turn them into allies." What followed was recorded in Xeraxian archives as the Liberation Incident, a cautionary tale about underestimating species based solely on physical capabilities. Because sometimes the most dangerous monster isn't the one with claws and fire. It's the one smart enough to make those forces work for him. The one with the mind of a human,